Welcome back to Enjoy Beekeeping. We've got an unboxing video that we're going to show you today. We've got a package from the Primal Bee Company. I've been eagerly waiting for this to come in the mail, and here it is today, so I'm super excited to share this with you. So let's dive in. So this is one big package. It actually came in two packages, so I got excited when I saw the big one. So what do you say? Do you want to open the big one first? I think so. Let's do it. So let's open it up. Let's see if we can maybe put it on its side here and get her going. Now, the thing about Primal Bee, if you're not familiar, is they kind of preach the same gospel as I do as far as the type of way to keep bees, or the management style for keeping bees. I'm going to set this on the ground kind of right next to me. All right, so we're going to take these pieces out one at a time. Everything's wrapped up real nice and snug. Okay, let's try it now. Maybe I can get this thing out in one pull and put it right on the table. If not, I'll just cut the box. All right, here it comes. Here it comes. Almost halfway there. Okay. And there it is. We got it, we got it. All right, the lunar module has landed. Let's take a look. So the thing about Primal Bee that really got me excited was I was telling you they preach the same gospel as I do. So one of the fundamental things about natural beekeeping is keeping bees in a hive that supports them just like a tree hollow would if they were living in the wild. So this is a bee-centered approach to management of honeybees. So in a lot of thin-walled hives, the bees lose a lot of energy because they're losing heat, and they suffer when the temperatures go way up and then shoot way back down. And so as you know, in the springtime, the bees are trying to raise brood. So it could be 75 degrees Fahrenheit one day, and then 2 days later, it might only be 30 or maybe even 20 or 25 degrees. I know from experience that's exactly the kind of spring that we have in Northeast Georgia. So if you can create an environment for your bees by building a hive that minimizes heat loss and insulating it, you're going to help your bees come out of the spring roaring, ready to go. You can make splits early, and they don't burn through their honey stores as quickly when they don't have to use the honey in order to create the energy they need in order to keep warm. So the folks at Primal Bee, that's their whole concept too. So when I read that about them, I said, I really want to take this for a test drive. So that's what we're going to do today, is just take a look at the hive itself. And I'm going to take the wrapper off real quick. So I got my knife here. And let me see if I can set this here so it doesn't tip over. Now, I've never seen one of these up close before. So this is my first look. So this is your first look. This is my first look too. So I've got the plastic off, and I'm looking this. I can't even tell where the entrance is yet. I'm thinking it's down here. Let me look. Yep, sure enough. So the entrance is right here. I'm going to slide this table over a little bit. All right. So the entrance to the hive is right here, but I want to take a look on the other side real quick and see, yep, okay. So yes, that is the entrance right here. When I feel this, it kind of feels like a styrofoam cooler. It's not, I don't think it's true styrofoam. Ruffles, don't eat the plastic, buddy. All right, Ruffles is parked right next to me, and he started to eat the plastic wrapper. So that was everything inside this box. It just fit perfectly in there, and it came right out. It's not very heavy by itself. Okay, it's kind of heavy. If I had to guess, that's about 35, 40 pounds, maybe 40-ish, somewhere in there. As I get older, things start to feel heavier. But anyway, I'm going to go ballpark it. I just want to have a good look at the components. So I got my little ladder here. So let's take the cover off it. So this cover feels like it's got some good weight to it. I'm going to show it to you. This is the cover. So let's get a tape measure. We'll measure it. So I'm getting a solid 3 inches. And this by itself feels like it weighs about 5 pounds. And if you know anything about heat loss, most of the heat loss that occurs on a beehive is going to be through the roof. So 3 inches of thick insulation is going to be a real benefit. Let's see what's up there next. All right, there's another insulated cover. So here's another insulated cover at the very top. And it's got a couple of pinch holes where you can put your fingers and you can, that's for putting for a jar feeder. So if you're gonna feed your bees or if you need to feed your bees, and then you can just take that right out just like that. So that's a handy, neat little feature. I don't see any supers yet, but we have another box and that might be where the supers are. If I'm using a Langstroth hive, for example, and I feed my bees, one of the things I never recommend people do is use an outside entrance feeder. It's the worst thing you can do for your bees. You think you're helping them, but you're actually inviting all the rest of the bees in the area to come eat at that hive, and they may attack it, so it's not a good idea. But if you have to feed your bees, do it inside the hive, and I think that's the concept here too. Okay. So here's the other box. So it looks like I've got some supers. They sent me 3 medium supers, so maybe we'll put these together right now. Again, these are about 3 inches thick each. Yeah, just about. This is 2.5 inches thick. One thing that I notice about unboxing this is a lot of times when you unbox something that's made with plastic, y'all get hit with that plastic smell. I don't smell something overwhelmingly plasticky about this, and I think that's a good thing. So the material that they're using has to be something that's bee friendly. So I'm pretty excited about that. So I wasn't overwhelmed by a really nasty plastic smell. Let's go ahead and see if we can figure out how to put these supers together. They almost look like Legos, and I even see a booklet. There's the long pieces. Here's some more long pieces. All right, so let's put all the long and shorts in a pile, and maybe we can assemble this. Now, should we read the directions or just go for it? Let's try it first. Let's go for it. If we can't seem to figure it out, I guess we'll go get the instruction booklet that I see down in there. So I'm just looking at Primal Bee, right side up, and this is a handle right here. This is the only way this handle is going to work. So I'm guessing that's just going to go in like that. Oh, look at that. I didn't even need the manual. All right, let's get this other piece on. Let's put another long piece on. So again, the handle goes this way, and these little pegs lock right in here. So I can stand this up just like this, and there it is. And now we've got one more right here. What do you think? Oh, man. Okay, so was that easy? I put together one of my medium supers without even having to read the manual. All right, now, am I gonna pay for that somewhere? I'm looking for something to backfire on me. That's okay, I'll rewind this video if I have to. So take a look here. You can see this area. It's just like putting together a puzzle. So this goes right in here. It snaps right in. And we are ready to go. So I brought a few frames over. These are just your typical standard Langstroth medium frame. So these are used for honey supers, and some people run all 8-frame medium on all their Langstroth equipment. That's how I used to do it when I ran all my hives on Langstroth. I just used 8-frame medium. So all I want to do is just see how well these frames set in there. So you see how they're fitting in? I got room for one more right here. So in the case of the Primal Hive, I do know that the basic concept is you're going to run a very good sized brood nest here for your colony. And then you're going to put honey supers on top. So the thing about the honey supers is you know they can get heavy. So that's just one thing to keep in mind. When you're going to lift one of these and it's got honey in it, it's going to have some weight to it. But it does have the handles on both sides. So you can grip it here or you can grip it here. Ah, you caught me reading the manual. Yeah, I thought I'd take a quick look. I want to make sure that we don't need to use glue or anything to hold these supers together. So let's take a quick look. Here's the manual that came with it. Welcome to Primal Bee. And it's got some pretty straightforward instructions here. So it's got some pictures. This thing's only about 30 pages long. So it's not a deep read, but it'll get you started, and that's what we're doing today. So I'm gonna really quick skim over everything, and then after I read it, I'll tell you anything I missed. All right, that was only 5 minutes that I was reading the manual, but I learned a lot in just a few minutes time. So we have, just for everyone's reference here, just so we can get our bearings. So this is the bottom board. So if you guys are using Langstroth hives, this is gonna make way more sense to you guys, but there's some really cool features in here for you horizontal hive keepers, especially the layings crowd. So let's start with the bottom board. So it does come with a tray for Varroa, and it also has a screen. So I've got a little plastic screen, and all you do is use some little pins or staples to hold this in place. It's just loose, but you pin it around here. We're gonna do an assembly video after we get done here. So your bottom board will set down here. I'm planning on putting this on something that'll raise it off the ground at least 12 to 16 inches. So I'm probably gonna work on that in just a little bit, but take a look at the hive body itself. It's one giant hive body, okay? So let me lift it up. Oops. So here it is, one massive hive body, and that sets right on here. That sets in place, and it fits nice and snug. And then, check out these frames. This is one of the frames that goes in. So this is a massive, continuous frame for the queen to lay on. So something that caught my eye right away was I was looking at it and it's tapered. So check this out. This is what I noticed right away. So I've used both Layens and Langstroth equipment, and I wanted to show you guys something that really I thought was interesting. So this is a medium Langstroth frame, and that's what can be used in the supers on this hive. Now it almost is identical in size at the very top, but it tapers down, and guess what? Check this out. This is a Layens frame, and if I hold them like this, it's a perfect match. So it looks like it's a combination of Langstroth to Layens, and it's a tapered frame. And I'm pretty excited about this because it also has a feature in here. One of the fundamental things about keeping bees in a horizontal hive is not the fact that it's horizontal. The bees still need enough room for the queen to lay in a nice big circular pattern. And this is the biggest frame I've ever seen. Let's get a quick measurement. All right, it's 25.5 inches. That's pretty big. So if a Langstroth deep is about 9 inches deep, it's almost the equivalent of 3 deep Langstroths. But again, it tapers, so I don't know what the actual square inches are, but it's big. You get the picture. So these frames just set right in here. So there's 7 frames. All 7 frames go in. And this is a feature that we see in a lot of our horizontal Layens hives, is we actually have a follower board. So the follower board is simply just another frame, and it's got a piece of that high density foam that's used here, and it just slides in here. So if you have a small colony, that's the whole point of it. As the colony grows, you move the follower board over, and they can have access to all the frames. So eventually, this will have a total of 8 frames, because this is not only a follower board, but it's a frame. So for now, with the foam in place, I can give the bees access to, say, 3 frames out of the total that we have in here. So again, the follower board counts as a frame eventually, but here's the other 3, and I'll bring you around here in a second. Oh, there's another frame. I knew something wasn't right. It seemed like there was a little too much room in there, so here's the other frame. I want to see what the frame spacing is on this. I found this to be very interesting because, again, if you follow my channel, I've talked before about frame spacing, and Langstroth frames are spaced 1 3/8 apart. This is a Langstroth frame, and it's spaced, that's 1 3/8. Each frame is spaced at 1 3/8. This frame, if we measure it, I think I can get a good measurement right here. That is 1.25 inches. Now I find that to be exceptionally well thought out. So why is the frame spacing such a big deal, especially in a hive like this? It's because they regulate their temperatures better when the frames and combs are spaced at 1 1/4 to 1 3/8 apart. So even though the folks at Primal and I are just starting to get to know each other just a little bit, I'm already impressed by several of the features. The frame spacing is a big deal. So if you want to do a little more research on comb spacing and what is the natural comb spacing for a feral bee colony, because remember, we're not a commercial beekeeping operation. We're backyard beekeepers, and what we're trying to do is do something that's sustainable and that has a bee-first approach to managing the bees. And so what do bees do in the wild? They draw tight combs in their brood nest, and that's exactly what this is designed to do. So I'm really impressed with that feature so far. So I can't wait to get some bees in here. The next video, we're gonna assemble this, but let me just make sure I go over all the other components with you so that you can see everything that comes with it. Remember when we first started the video, this little plug right here? Well, that just comes out and you can put a jar there. If you're not gonna feed your bees, just keep this plugged. But this is where it would go. This is what you would consider an inner cover. The Primal Bee folks call this the feeder cover. So if you're gonna feed your bees, you take the plug out, and if you jar feed, and this is what I use, so I'll mix up honey water and I'll put it in this, and you just put these little pinholes. You can put like 10 or 15 pinholes in this. Take a little nail, not really pinholes, but nails. Take a nail and puncture some holes in there. Fill that up with honey water. Put it upside down. Now I recommend honey. Feed honey to your bees and feed your honey to your bees. That's the best. But this jar goes right here. And then you put an empty, medium, super, or deep. Now the bees can't access this area right here. They can only get to those holes at the bottom of the jar. And then this is your outer cover. You just put this on top. Now, why do I like that so much? So like I say, this is my first look right out of the gate. So it prevents robbing. So that's gonna be huge. So if you've got a weak colony, the last thing you need to do is advertise free food, come and get it, because they will beat down the door to get that jar of syrup or sugar water, or in my case, I use honey water. So everything's well protected. So your bees will be able to feed without worrying about having their door beat down by all the other bees in the area. So they even give you this nice heavy duty strap to hold everything together. Once you've got the bottom and top and any super or feeder jar in place, all you do is tighten it up and you're ready to start keeping bees. Now what I do know too is you don't need to paint this hive. So it can go outside just as is, but I do want to put it on something that props it off the ground just a little bit higher. If you think that based on just a few things that we saw today is enough to convince you that maybe this is worth a try, make sure you use the link in the description below and you're gonna save some money on your hive. Well, that takes care of today's video, guys. I hope that you enjoyed it. And if you wanna see more specific content about the Primal Hive, I'm gonna dedicate a section of my channel to the videos that are just covering this. So the next one is gonna be me putting it together and installing the foundation, and then I'll have another video that will have the bees going in. So I've got some bees in the yard that are ready to take this right now, but we might just be catching a swarm. So we're gonna see, and hopefully that'll just be in a day or two before we have that for you. So keep on watching, make sure you hit the notification bell, and that way you'll get the notice when that video goes live. I'll see you guys at the next one. Keep on enjoying beekeeping.